Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years.
Hi, I'm John Malos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this day. You're watching us on Comcast 187, 43.6. As usual, today it's on the air, off the presses. We're going to be talking to Mike Scott. 436 MeTV option 11. Back in just a moment. On the air, off the presses here on this Monday morning as usual, and today we'll be talking to a former news anchor and reporter. He's been he's been around these parts for a long time, but I must say, my friends, we're going to cover the gamut today. We're going to be talking about everything under the sun that has happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks in television news and in the news, stories making the news. But I got to tell you, right here in the city of Fresno, they are dropping like flies. I'm talking about reporters and anchors. The television news landscape has totally changed in the last few months. I want to take you to the videotape, my friends, and show you exactly what I am talking about. Hey, one of those who left his longtime job at Channel 47 now works inside that 2-story home along Van Ness. That's right. He had been at Channel 47 for 30 years. I'm talking about Mike Scott, a solid anchor, a versatile reporter who could go out and cover the opening of a movie at River Park, and there he is talking to Jack Scow, or if need be, he could tell you the gritty details of a double homicide if you want him to. Now, Scott is hosting his own 1-hour talk show on CentralValleyTalk.com. He's there twice a week with Mike Briggs.
3 times.
Oh, 3 times a week. Sorry about that. Scott is just one of a handful of news anchors and reporters the past couple of years at 24/47 Channel 30 who have either left on their own or have been asked or shown the door. In some cases, those positions have been filled with younger, more inexperienced people, and one has to wonder how the viewers feel about it. Well, maybe you can chime in today on this program, and you, the viewer, can tell us how you feel about it. Scott, who has a friendly, easygoing style, well respected by his peers and the viewing public, and would no doubt still be in the thick of it if it weren't for this trending toward the younger generation, younger and cheaper. Live in our studio right now is one of the good guys in broadcasting, Mike Scott. His second appearance here on the show. You know, he's back from that big vacation up in Alaska. He's back from that Raider game Saturday night. He's here to offer his opinions on what's been going on, of course, in Ferguson and in the landscape of television news here in the Central Valley, specifically Fresno. We're going to be back with our program. I sure hope you chime in with this because we got one of the good guys in broadcasting here, Mike Scott. 436 MeTV, option 11 if you have a question. And remember, my friends, do turn down that sound if you get a chance. Back in a moment.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
You know, my friends, the landscape of television news has changed so much, I don't even recognize anybody on the air anymore. I turn on Channel 47 in the morning, you know, when I get up, and I'm thinking, where is Mike Scott? Where is Zara Arvila? Hey, I want to put up some still photos before we get to our guest. I want to show you the people that have left television news. Hey, there's Angelo Stalis, retired after 40 years at Channel 30. Let's go to the next one, and then the next one. Bud Elliott. How many years at 24 he left and came back? Faith Sidlow. He's been a guest. You know, all these people except for Angela have yet to be a guest on the program here. There's Jenny Toasty. She was at 47. The next one, of course, change it. There he is, Matt Ostott. He's gone as well. And the next one, let's just keep going, Zara Arboleta. And the next one, I think there's one more, isn't there? Nope, that's it. All gone. Out the door. See you later. The landscape, as I said, changed. Mike, what in the heck is going on, my friend? Can you believe that?
Wow, it's only been a year since I've been gone, and all those people are now gone since then. Isn't it crazy?
I know. I don't know. I mean, you know, I get the sense that, like Zara and Matt, they love broadcasting so much. How are they going to last or survive in their new positions at Children's Hospital? It's, you know, in broadcasting, you got that adrenaline. You got the, once you have it in your blood, it's there. You can't get it out. How do you think they'll do?
I think they'll do fine. I mean, especially Zara, who has a family, doesn't have to get up anymore in the middle of the night to go to work, and she now has a normal schedule. Probably has holidays off, weekends off, things that, you know, when you're working in television, often that doesn't happen. So I think she'll be very happy. It's a logical flow for people to go from television into public relations. I know the best public relations people that I ever dealt with, you probably feel the same way, were former reporters or news people, because they know what you need to do a good story. So I think they'll do fine. And Jenny went to Fresno State, working in the media relations department over there. So interesting developments in local news.
Do you get the sense, though, that, I mean, when you look at television news and this landscape has changed so much, is it just evolution? I mean, is it just the fact that it's just, look, it's going to change hands one way or the other sooner or later? This just happened during this time period. So should it be a surprise, considering the trend?
Where do you get your news from now, John?
Internet, phone.
Cell phone, smartphone, internet.
Phone.
Local television news on television in general, has just died. Especially young people are not watching television news. And so you can't really blame the stations for what they're doing. They're trying to survive. And sure, we all miss, we loved turning on the TV and seeing familiar faces. People that had been there 10, 20, in my case, 30 years. You know, being invited into people's homes. That was a pretty awesome thing. Now, as you said, you turn on the TV, you don't even know the people that are there. They come and go. It's a new world, John. It's not going to go back to the old way.
No, but you still have that certain segment, Mike, like the people that watch all of these television shows here on MeTV. They're anywhere from 40 to 60, maybe even beyond. And some of those senior citizens, I don't consider myself a senior citizen, but not there yet. But you know what? Many of those people don't have a computer. Many of those people maybe don't have a phone, and they rely on local news. And so what do you think their thoughts are? I'd like you to call in and tell us, but does that have some sort of an effect?
Well, I know what their thoughts are, because they tell me on Facebook or through email or even Twitter. And yeah, a lot of those older people are now getting into those internet connections. And they say, yeah, we miss seeing you and all those other people on the news every day. We don't recognize these new people now. And it's a very personal thing when you turn that TV on. I love the CBS National Morning Show. Charlie Rose, Gayle King. I like welcoming them into my home. And if they were gone one day all of a sudden and some kids were sitting on there in their place, I probably wouldn't watch anymore. And that's what's happened with all the local news programs.
Right. On the CBS Morning News, you've got that good mix. Charlie Rose,
Nora O'Donnell.
Nora O'Donnell. But hard news, he's a hard news guy. He also does some reports on 60 Minutes. He's a longtime interviewer on PBS, as we all know.
One of the best interviews in the world.
Yes. And then you have that mix of Gayle King that's sort of like a show-busy type reporter.
It's got to balance it out.
It's got to balance it out. Yeah. And so do you think that's what people want now? A little bit of a balance?
Well, I think it works. I really like that morning show. I like it a lot more than Today or Good Morning America, which are too bouncy and laughy, and I want the more. The mix that CBS has come up with in the morning.
They're still behind in the ratings, though, CBS.
I know.
I think Good Morning America is slightly ahead of Today. They've revamped their program. Of course, Michael Strahan is a part of that team now. Stephanopoulos, I don't know where he sleeps or how he sleeps or when he
He's
sleeps.
on everything, isn't he?
He's on every single thing. I want to roll the videotape and show a little bit about what you do at CentralValleyTalk.com. It's Michael Scott interviewing our buddy in that building, Jack Scow. Is that the monologue video again? No. Oh, it's not? Okay. I just wondered. Is that the Jack Scow interview here? Okay, tell us what you do and how you do it.
Has Jack been a guest on your show, by the way?
Oh, gosh, many times.
Many times. Is he incredible?
Yeah, that guy's amazing. How old is this guy?
Late 60s, I believe, and still is in amazing shape.
Wow.
Still teaches other people, does fitness classes or one-on-one training, and drives around his big flashy car.
Yeah.
What a guy. He's our local... Who was the guy that just died recently?
Jack LaLanne?
Jack LaLanne. He's our local Jack LaLanne, yeah.
Is the right terminology, should I say he's buffed out? Is that the right
He's
term?
buffed out, yeah.
He's buffed out, man.
But not excessively. Some guys are too He's in great shape, and he's got a great personality. He's still very sharp.
Oh, God, yes.
Good guy.
See, if you got into a car wreck with Jack Scow, now, you wouldn't want to, if you got out of your car in a fit of anger and then you saw him come out of his car, you wouldn't mess with him, would you?
I wouldn't mess with him, no.
You'd get back in your car, wouldn't you?
That show is fun because every day, the show's on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Every day we have 6, 7, 8 guests. And it's just a free-for-all. I mean, even though it's called a business show, it's really, it's like an entertainment business show. People come on to tell about their business, but I like to hear about them. I want to know what drives them.
Now, see, I want you to explain, because our show here is seen on, well, I'll get into that in a moment. A call coming in. Good morning, you're on Connect with me.
Our first call.
Yeah. Hello, caller.
Yeah, I kind of missed Mike Scott, He was a good reporter. I used to watch him with his dog. He used to walk around with a dog. He was a real good reporter.
Thank you.
Yeah, I used to watch him, too, when I was a younger guy.
Yeah, and I miss you, too, John Mello. You used to work for Channel 10, so I remember you. Okay, you guys have a good day.
Okay, thank you for the call.
Everybody brings up the dog. I still,
I know. I see your dog on Facebook, Robbie.
Right. But Sam
Your
Dog,
best
my
friend,
Dalmatian,
right?
was with me for years and years on 47. Now I have my little Boston Terrier, Robbie, who's everywhere, People connect with that.
You take that dog everywhere, don't you?
I take him. I almost brought him today, but I wasn't
You should
sure.
have. You should. Next time.
Next time I will bring him.
Next time. And next time, also bring the photos from your trip to Alaska. How was that, by the way?
That was pretty cool. I mean, one of the nice things since I retired was being able to cross some things off my bucket list. I went to Egypt earlier this year.
Yeah, I remember that too.
That was incredible. And I've always wanted to do an Alaska cruise. And so finally, I'll share this with your viewers. If you can wait till the last minute to book one of these Alaska cruises, you can get it for next to nothing. Most people book a cruise a year in advance or months in advance. If you can wait till the last minute, the cruise line knows if they have 50 empty cabins a week before the cruise is set to sail, they're probably going to sail empty unless they get something for that cabin. You can book a 7-day cruise to Alaska right now in September, inside cabin, for about $250.
You're kidding.
For a 7-day cruise to Alaska. I'm not kidding. Yeah.
$250?
Yes. Now,
is that how you did it?
I paid a little more than that, but because I went round trip from Seattle. Those cruises with the lower prices leave from Vancouver and go to, it's called Whittier, but it's right outside of Anchorage. So you have to fly into Vancouver and fly out of Anchorage. So your airfare is a little higher than normal because it's not a round trip.
How long did you wait? What, 4 weeks in advance?
No, about a week.
About a week in
About a
advance?
week, yeah.
And you got the deal of a century, huh?
I did. I upgraded to a balcony cabin and paid next to nothing for it, yeah.
Well, these are the trade secrets that not a lot of people are aware of.
Well, most people can't wait till the last minute to book a vacation,
Yeah, they really can't. And so I thought the further out you book, the cheaper the price is.
Well, that's what they want you to believe, yeah.
Huh.
But like I said, the only reason Priceline works on hotel rooms is the hotel, like the cruise ship, knows if they have 50 empty rooms today, they're probably going to be empty tonight unless they can get something for those rooms. So they give those rooms to Priceline and say, get what you can for them.
Wow.
And it works for everybody.
Amazing. Time to take a break, I think, right here on Connect With Me on Comcast 187 and 43.6. The one and only Mike Scott is here. And you can call in at 436-MeTV, option 11. Look at that, my friends. I don't even have that number written down. See that? I've been doing this show so long, I can memorize the number. Call in. We're back in just a moment.
Considering solar? Whether you're ready to buy now or just exploring your options, the consultants at Solar Negotiators are here to help you. A call to Solar Negotiators is like calling 5 solar companies at once. You see, when local established solar contractors have gaps in their schedule, they call Solar Negotiators to fill them. Right now, get 5 years of panel cleaning and maintenance or $1,000 off your new solar panels. So stop wasting your time searching and call Solar Negotiators, because when contractors compete for your business, you win.
Back here with the one and only Mike Scott, formerly of Channel 47. Roll another piece of videotape from the Mike Briggs broadcasting center over there on Van Ness and Olive, my friends. There he is interviewing another guest on each show. 3 times a week he is on for an hour. So you do basically what we do here. Now our show here is shown on Comcast. It's live every morning, 10 to 11. We just expanded to an hour. Is yours seen anywhere on television, or is it just an internet?
Just the internet.
Just the internet. Okay.
Which I like, because you can say anything you want. There's no censorship. Guests can say whatever they want. They don't have to pull any punches. Of course, we can't do that here because
right.
you're on broadcast TV. But I like that freedom. It doesn't mean the show is crazy and that, you know, swear words are flying left and right. But sometimes people slip and say something they shouldn't, and
right.
we don't have to worry about it. It happens.
Well, it happens. Listen, it happened to me while I was at 26. Something happened
to me,
I
yeah.
said the S word, and I was gone for about a day and a half. You didn't see me, and I was on vacation.
But you came back.
I came back. Yeah, there was no problem.
Yeah.
Well, how do you just curious, not that you have to give me any trade secrets because I've been doing the show for 3 years, but how is it that you find your guests? Do you personally book the guest, or do you have?
They have a staff there that does that.
They have a staff there
Thank
that
goodness.
does it. Yeah.
So I just come in. They hand me the list of who the guests are, and we go through them for the hour, and I like that. I like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than what you're used to doing for the last 30 years. Do you miss Channel 47, or do you miss the people?
Of course, I miss the people. But most of those people are gone now, so they've moved on to other things. But
That's true.
Sure, I miss it, and I would have loved to have stayed there a couple of years longer, but it didn't work out that way, and it's turned out fine for me. I'm enjoying what I'm doing now. I'm working for the Mike Briggs stations over there, and I'm doing some stuff for the California Fig Advisory Board and writing for Central California Life magazine. I'm getting to pick and choose now what I want to do, and it's all things I enjoy doing. And I don't get up at 2 o'clock in the morning anymore.
No, but there's something to be said for that steady routine that you're used to. Like I said, in broadcasting, there's that adrenaline. There's that, I can't put, it's like a drug. You have to have it. It's in your blood. I know, it's this, doing this is not the same as what I was doing. Doing what you're doing is very similar. So I guess my question is, do you miss that adrenaline rush? That routine, day in and day out. Yeah, you got to get up at 2, but you know what? You liked it, right? I liked it.
I liked it, yeah. But do I miss it now? No. I did it for 30 years at 47.
But you didn't get up at 2 in the morning for 30 years. You did it just recent.
Pretty close.
How many years did you get up early
10,
in the morning?
15.
All right, but your body acclimated to it.
Sure.
You were acclimated to it, and
But you can't have a normal life when you get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Now
Except
I have
on weekends. That's about it.
Now I can sleep till 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning until my little dog wakes me up, and that's a much more normal life.
Do you feel like you're more in control of your life?
Yeah, absolutely. I do.
Yeah. And you're doing things on the bucket list that you weren't able to do before, or?
It's easier to do them now. When I had a job, I had to let them know far in advance what vacation dates I wanted. Now, a deal pops up, I can do it immediately. I can take it. I could go tomorrow if I wanted to.
Right. And so what's left on the list? You've done just about everything.
Just about everything. I still want to go to Russia.
Okay.
But other than that, there aren't many other places left. Well, I guess maybe the North Pole. Be interesting.
Okay. Have you been to the Middle East? Have you been to Israel?
I have not been to Israel. And my brother, who was in the Air Force for many years, was an attaché in Israel and invited me to come over there a few years ago. And I will kick myself for not going. But again, I had a full-time job then and just couldn't work it out. But I would love to visit Israel.
If you get a chance, go sometime, because I had a chance to go a few years ago, and it's out of this world. It really
Egypt
is.
was fascinating. It really was. And when I was there just a few months ago, I think I was the only American I saw there. Americans were not traveling to Egypt at that time because of the unrest in that country. But it was fascinating, and I had no problems there at all.
I got to tell you, for somebody who stayed at one station for 30 years, that's highly unusual. Angelo Stalis, of course, 40 years. Hard to top that. But just staying there in one place, I mean, you were good enough, Mike. You could have gone to Los Angeles, New York, anywhere. To me, what that tells me is that you like stability. You're a stable guy. You like one job, one city. If it's going well, don't mess with it. Have I pegged it right?
You've pretty much pegged it right, yeah.
Yeah.
Fresno has one of the lowest cost of livings in all of California.
Right.
When I looked into jobs in LA, I couldn't get a one-bedroom apartment for the same price that I could get a beautiful home.
$2,000
here
for
in
an
Fresno.
apartment in LA,
yeah,
maybe?
or
Yeah.
San Francisco, the prices were insane.
Yeah.
And living here at the lower cost of living here allowed me to do what I love, and that's travel the world. So that was one of the main reasons I stayed here. And I had good friends here, and I enjoyed it, and I really did enjoy my time at 47. I just didn't have that drive to go be in. Look at the people from Fresno here that went to LA or to Sacramento or San Francisco and came back.
Didn't Rich Rodriguez, I think, falls in that category,
went to
right?
Los Angeles,
Went to
yeah.
LA and came back.
Yeah, Warren Armstrong went to Sacramento
And came
back. Yeah, there's something
Now,
about this area.
Warren started at 47, didn't he?
I don't know if he started at 47, but he worked at 47.
He worked
yeah.
at 47, left, went to Sacramento, and then came back, and is now the anchor at Channel 30.
Yeah.
What do you think about what's going on at 30 right now with some of the changes over there? You see, guys like Gene Hagenson, even though he's still there,
Has he been on your show?
he hasn't been on my show. Channel 30 is tough to get people. I don't think Channel 30 would let him or any other people come on this program while they're still under contract. Nancy Osborne is another one we didn't mention. She retired. She was on this program a year ago. But even though a guy like Gene Hagenson, a great, solid reporter, he's almost being pushed to the side for these younger people that you see on the air at Channel 30. Am I right about that?
No, I think you're right. You're right. And you know what? The whole list you went through of the people that have left, that's just the on-air people.
I know.
Behind the scenes,
I know.
it's cameramen, editors, directors. There has been just an onslaught of people let go. And it's really, really sad. I posted on my Facebook page a couple of weeks ago that there's been the greatest brain drain in the history of Fresno television over the past year. And it's just been sad to watch.
Yeah, it has been. Mike Scott is our guest. 436-ME-TV, option 11. Do call in. We're here for the full 60 minutes. 10 to 11 o'clock. We're back in just a moment.
It's nice, but when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start, but you really should touch the merchandise before you buy.
Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV.
Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting.
Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Mike Scott is our guest here on Connect with Me, and another piece of videotape from the Mike Briggs Broadcast Center, ladies and gentlemen. They're in Van Ness and Olive, and who you got here, Mike?
Who is that? I can't really make it out.
I couldn't make it out either. Michael Wirtz?
You know,
Is it
we
Wirtz?
go through so many guests.
Yeah, who cares? Who cares? Hey, there's the setup. Talk about the setup there.
It's basically, I shouldn't say it, it's in a garage. I mean, it's amazing what you can do with a green screen. Obviously, when you're watching on television, you don't see the green screen. You see whatever is projected, and usually it's the landscape of Fresno behind us. But it's pretty amazing what Mike Briggs has done down there. He's running a number of shows. Some of them are on broadcast TV, some of them are just on the internet. But I give him a lot of credit. I really like what he's done down there.
Yeah, and he's had some tough financial times here in the last few years, and he keeps going like the Energizer Bunny. It's amazing what he's done out there, and this is obviously the studio for those people watching at home at CentralValleyTalk.com. And
remember how big the cameras used to be? Look at how tiny they are now.
I know. They're like the little home video cameras, basically.
But they're HD quality.
Right, HD quality. And so he does a number of shows out there, including the Chuck Leonard Show. Talk a little bit about that just for a couple of minutes.
That's a 2-hour daily variety show, And I don't know, how would you describe Chuck Leonard? He is a character.
Wild and crazy guy.
Wild and crazy guy. Mr. Fresno.
Yeah.
He loves Fresno. His wife works for the Downtown Association, and one of the biggest supporters of everything Fresno that I've ever met. A little unpolished, but that's what makes him Chuck Leonard.
Yes, but you are a broadcast professional. Don't try this at home.
I get to follow him 3 days a week.
Every time I think of Chuck Leonard, I think of Steve Martin. You know, that routine where he goes, wild and crazy guy.
Yeah.
That's what I think of when I think of Chuck Leonard. But
I can see that.
I think his show airs, what is it, 7.1? Kale?
Yes.
TV?
Yes.
Kale TV. Okay.
11 to 1 every day.
Yeah. All right, let's take that's the shot I want on Mike. Look at that shot of Mike Scott. Okay, now I want you to see, now let's stay on this shot. Stay on this shot, Ara, because I want to introduce a piece of videotape, a much younger Mike Scott, back in the 1980s on the street as a reporter at Channel 47. Roll it, my friends, roll it.
This is believed to be the young man who terrorized a central Fresno neighborhood this morning. He reportedly took a semi-automatic pistol from his parents' home, then allegedly tried to steal a car from a nearby auto shop, but was thwarted by 3 alert people working there.
So I just stopped and I told him put down the gun. He didn't. He looked scared, so I figured he wasn't going to shoot.
Fresno police arrived moments later and sealed off the neighborhood where they believed the suspect was hiding. Officers went door to door searching for the young man, but didn't find anything until a neighbor spotted the suspect hiding near an air conditioner.
And I said, I looked back there and I went like this, and all of a sudden he jumped up and put the gun to me right there. He said, shut up, old man.
Moments after threatening that neighbor, the suspect tried to escape, running directly in front of our Eyewitness News camera.
Hands behind your back.
In those few seconds when he did not drop the gun, and your officers were all standing there trying to get him to drop the gun, that's got to be a terrifying experience for the officers.
Very rattling, yes. Yeah, it would be a very hard decision to make at that moment on what to do when he does not drop the gun, when he's asked to.
Thankfully, though, it ended peacefully.
It did work out fine, yeah.
18-year-old Som Chan Bandit is facing 6 counts of assault with a deadly weapon and various other charges. He's being held tonight in the Fresno County Jail. In Fresno, I'm Mike Scott, 47 Eyewitness News.
Oh, my goodness. So
where did you get that?
Oscar De Leon. He was here a couple of weeks ago, and former photographer at, well,
Good guy.
every station in town. He worked at every station.
Yeah, the whole De Leon family.
Yeah.
Brothers and sons are in the business or were in the business. Oscar, though, was a good guy.
Oh, he still is, and he's a good photographer.
Well, that's a perfect example of his work. You know, I mean, he was rolling when the story happened. He did not miss it.
Difference between Oscar De Leon and some of the young photogs you see today? You don't have to mention names, but I mean, come on, Mike. You can spit it out.
There was a passion in the old days that I just don't see with kids nowadays. They're too interested in sitting there on their cell phone and, oh, I missed that guy getting shot over there. Sorry, you know, and put the cell phone down and do your job. I just think that's
I know.
It's not the same.
See, talking to Oscar, it's almost like he's not even retired. He still has a passion for it. Once you have that, that's what I was talking about earlier. It goes back to my original statement. The passion that Matt Ostott and Zara Arboleta have, or had, or maybe still have. How do you get rid of that passion? They're always going to have that passion.
You don't get rid of it. You redirect it. You redirect it into their new jobs. Zara's going to be fine.
I don't know.
Think of the stories she can tell out of Children's Hospital.
Well, then why don't you go get a desk job someplace, sitting at a state job? I mean, you can't do that, Mike. You can't, because you're not built that way.
I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
But do you want to sit at a desk from 9 to 5 or 8 to 5? See, we're not built that way. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think those jobs are necessarily sitting at your desk. They're out finding the stories, escorting news crews around, putting together newsletters. I don't know all the things that are involved, but I don't think it's just sitting at a desk all day.
Right.
You'll have to get them on and ask them.
Yeah, I got to get them on.
Yeah.
I got to get them on. I got to call over there and see if I can get them on. But maybe you can put me in touch with them.
Okay.
We'll see how that
Will
works
do.
out. All right, Mike Scott is our guest. A lot to talk about in the next half hour here on Connect with Me. You're watching us on Comcast 187 43.6. Please call in if you want 436-MeTV option 11.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
A lot to talk about here on Connect with Me on Comcast 187 43.6. And I want to get to the videotape here. Let's roll it. It's from Ferguson, Missouri. You know what happened overnight? More unrest, tear gas being thrown, a lot of rioting going on. This happened after, of course, a young 18-year-old African-American, Michael Brown, was shot not this past Saturday, but a week ago Saturday. And so he was shot by Officer Darren Wilson. And so the governor over there, Jay Nixon of Missouri, said earlier today he was going to deploy the National Guard. This is a white officer, Mike, an African-American gentleman, 18 years old, had just robbed a convenience store.
Shoplifted.
Pushed one of the clerks out of the way as he was going out the door. We saw the videotape. What do you make of this story? And if you were in Missouri, St. Louis, let's say, a reporter, how would you be covering this?
Well, I wouldn't be jumping to any conclusions, as it seems that some reporters there have. The truth is, none of us knows yet what really, really happened there. There's been some eyewitnesses who said one thing happened. We don't know yet what the officer's side of the story is, and I think it's way, way too early to make a decision on what happened. We just don't know. Today, the news came out about he was hit 6 times,
right,
all in the front, which contradicts what one of the eyewitnesses said, that he was running away from the scene. He would have been shot in the back if that was the case. How that will change things, I don't know. It's a very, very difficult story to cover. I don't know if I'd want to be in the middle of that, honestly. It's a tough one.
All right. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, good morning, and how wonderful to see the program.
Go ahead. Your question?
We're from Visalia, California. I just wanted to let you know that we were enjoying the program with Mike Scott on there, and for some reason our screen froze, and we tried the other channels, 43, 3, 4. They all seemed to work except for Mike Scott, and they had a beautiful picture on there.
Okay.
But we were thinking that perhaps it was sabotage.
Might have been. Those guys at 47, they're
you
going to...
guys have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you. Is this a little sabotage maybe from 47 and 24? No, we're just kidding. We're just kidding. Hey, I want to get back to the Ferguson thing. So, yeah, shot 6 times from the front, hit once in the right eye, top of the head, had 4 gunshots to the right arm. You're absolutely right. But in your opinion, you touched on it just briefly, how has the media covered this? What has their coverage been like? Have you liked what you've seen, or are you discouraged by it?
It's a tough story to cover. You want to be standing there while tear gas is being fired all around you and rioting is going on, and you're trying to do a live report in the middle of all that. It's a tough situation. I'm not going to judge other reporters. I'll leave that to the viewers to make up their own minds. But in general, the quality of reporting.
I guess what I'm asking is, are we focusing too much that it's a white officer versus an African American? How often does this happen? The eyewitness accounts just don't match up with the autopsy. Apparently there was a struggle in the car. And one thing you have to keep in mind is that the 18-year-old Michael Brown, who allegedly had just shoplifted at one of the convenience stores, he didn't know that the officer, Darren Wilson, didn't know that he had just done that.
Right.
When he was told to get off the street. In his mind, he thought, oh, that officer knows what I just did. So there's so many angles to this story, but are we focused too much on the white versus black?
It makes for good television. I think that's why everybody's focused on that. And I just don't want to see this expand and grow. I mean, how many days now has this been going on? Now the National Guard's being called in. I'm hoping this doesn't spread to other cities. I hope they can get it under control. I think the CHP person they brought in, the African American officer.
Yeah, we saw him in the video there.
Very good decision to bring him in, and he's a very good speaker, and hopefully he'll be able to calm things down, and hopefully they'll get to the bottom of what really did happen. And until then, we're all speculating as to what happened. Nobody really knows what happened that night.
Yeah, and the question is this racial injustice? Should this young man have been shot even once? We don't know that. We're not in that situation. It's hard to speculate. The job of a television news reporter covering this story, though, is what, in your opinion, Mike?
The job of a reporter is to get to the facts. Yeah. You during the break, we were talking about how you were stopped by an officer recently for a light out on your car or something.
Right.
And you just complied with everything the officer told you to do.
Right.
Well, you weren't fighting with the officer in the front seat of your car. Obviously, something happened there that triggered that fight in Ferguson. I don't know what that was. Nobody knows what that was at this point. So for us to make any conclusions or decisions or speculate as to what happened there, it is just speculation on our part at this point. Hopefully, somehow, the true story will come out.
Yeah, well, rule number one, when you get pulled over, don't get out of your car.
Correct.
That's rule number one.
Hands on the wheel.
Hands on the wheel. And the other thing is, if you're walking or jaywalking across the street and an officer flags you down, get off the street, do you want to really sit there and have an argument with the guy?
All right, follow that through. They were walking in the street. The officer told them to get off the street. If they had both walked off the street, there would not be a story today.
No, there wouldn't.
End of story.
But again, I hearken back to that statement. The young man, Michael Brown, did not know that the officer didn't know what he had just done in that convenience store.
Correct.
So we got a phone call coming in here on Connect with Me. Good morning, caller. Your question to Mike Scott.
Talking about the rioting conditions and all the violence and the tear gas going on in the earlier reel you were showing. That's how Jan Rather and some of those grand old lions of broadcasting made their bones and their reputations and their credentials were made in scenes like that. Now, does your guest, Mike Scott, does he think that that's still true, or is the day of the sage journalist, TV journalist, is it gone by the wayside? Are we never going to see it again? That's a question, but that just came to mind. My other question for Mike is, so many Hall of Famers, broadcast Hall of Famers, came right out of this. I don't know, the birthplace of the 5000 Watt station here in Fresno. Some of the broadcast journalists that he's worked with over the years that have made lasting positive impressions, who are they? 2 questions for your guest.
Okay, thank you.
Who's made an impression?
In Fresno.
In Fresno? Nancy Osborne, who you mentioned, was on the air for a long, long time and was always there, always solid, always reliable. Stephanie Barugian, who is still on the air at 24, who just judged with me at Fig Fest a couple of weekends ago.
I love her.
It's hard to find anything, she's the sweetest person in the world, and you love welcoming her into your home night after night after night. If she ends up getting caught in what's happening with all the stations, it'll be a very sad thing. Not that I have any knowledge it will, but look at who's gone and who's there now. Anyway, what was his first question about Ferguson?
These Hall of Fame broadcasters like Dan Rather, they made their bones by covering stories like this. They made their mark. Tom Brokaw, all of them. So how do you see that? Do you see young broadcasters using a story like this to make their mark? Can they do it in this day and age?
Have you seen any reporters out of Ferguson that are making that kind of an impression on you today that Dan Rather did?
Nothing.
No. They come and go. Yeah. They're more concerned with how they look and is their hair okay, and
are they texting?
Have they tweeted out where they are and what they're doing? Yeah, the whole emphasis is different than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, as you know, Dan Rather made his mark during the JFK assassination, broadcasting live out of it. It was unprecedented coverage back in 1963. As you know, Mike, you were a small kid like I was. We all watched that. And the difference today is this right here, the cell phone. And how has this changed what we see on the screen, night in, night out?
I'll tell you how it's changed. When I turn on the 6 o'clock news, on the rare occasions I do now, and their first story is something that they call breaking news, I saw it on my phone 6 hours earlier. How can it be breaking news? Drives me crazy.
Yeah, now you mentioned the CBS Morning News on a daily basis. You like that. However, would you agree or not agree that the best nightly news, network nightly news right now is with Scott Pelley on CBS?
I actually like all of the three major networks. I don't have a favorite. I watch them all at different times. Who's on ABC?
He's doing hard news. It's David Muir. David Muir.
David Muir is taking over now for
Diane Sawyer.
For Diane Sawyer.
Yeah.
And on NBC, it's Brian Williams. They're all competent, solid journalists.
But not so much the journalists, but the way the broadcast is presented with hard news. If you tune into NBC, ABC, they've got softer news after the first 5 minutes. But it seems like CBS with Scott Pelley, it's hard news almost all the way through.
If that's what you want, then that's what you'll tune in and watch. But what's on after the evening news? Extra Entertainment Tonight, Inside Edition.
Oh my God!
And they probably have higher ratings than the evening newscast had.
Yeah. Mike Scott is here. 436 MeTV option 11. Back in just a moment.
The consultants at Solar Negotiators are here to help you. A call to Solar Negotiators is like calling 5 solar companies at once. You see, when local established solar contractors have gaps in their schedule, they call Solar Negotiators to fill them. Right now, get 5 years of panel cleaning and maintenance or $1,000 off your new solar panels. So stop wasting your time searching and call Solar Negotiators, because when contractors compete for your business, you win.
Back here on the program, I want to get your thoughts about Robin Williams. I was saddened. I was a little depressed when I heard about it.
It was a shocker, yeah.
I don't know. I'm still a little bit shaken by it. Loved Robin Williams. What are your thoughts?
I have friends who are from San Francisco, and once when I was up visiting them a few years ago, they took me by the house where Robin Williams lived at the time, and we took pictures outside of it. So it was a very sad thing. I mean, if you've ever had a bout of depression, and I think almost everyone has, it is devastating, and you think you're never going to pull out of it. And thankfully, most of us do pull ourselves out of it. But for, the revelation that he had Parkinson's, which his wife just came out with, I think, and the cancellation of his most recent show on CBS, plus the Parkinson's diagnosis, plus his depression, his ongoing fight with alcohol and other drugs, it just got to be too much. And man, we lost a talent. Good Will Hunting, one of my all-time favorite movies. Yeah. The Birdcage.
My favorite was Good Morning Vietnam. That was just terrific.
Unbelievable.
I had heard too, Mike, that he ad-libbed the majority of that movie.
Yeah. When he was on the microphone there, it was almost all ad-libbed.
Yeah.
He just took off.
Now, who else could do that?
Not many people.
His brain was wired completely differently than yours and mine.
Yeah.
I mean, no question. Now, let me tie in a news angle to this, because I thought it was just really in poor taste that Shepard Smith out of Fox News tweeted out that Robin Williams was a coward for taking his own life. In the old days, when we didn't have these cell phones, I mean, should news anchors be tweeting out their thoughts about a news story or an event that they're covering? Isn't that ridiculous, what he said?
Well, I personally think it's ridiculous, but what's on Facebook and Twitter is someone's personal opinion. If you don't want to know what their opinion is, don't follow them on Facebook or Twitter.
But, okay, in the old days, you have a point, but in the old days, did you know the opinion of Dan Rather? Did you know the opinion of Walter Cronkite? Did you know the opinion of Tom Brokaw? I thought to keep their reputation and their credibility, they weren't supposed to offer up any opinions.
Yeah, no, you didn't know, obviously. It's a different time. It's a different time. We all have cell phones now. We all have instant communication with each other. We all can send out tweets and post to our Facebook pages, and it's a different world.
All right. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yeah, I was here listening to one of your earlier callers talking about Hall of Famers and stuff, and just wondered, is there a Fresno Hall of Fame for TV broadcasters? And if so, shouldn't Mike Scott be the founding honoree?
Yeah, I was just
absolutely.
He's like this guy's seen everything all around. I'm just putting it out there. And also, I would like a comment on that Robin Williams deal. In your guest estimation, will we have another comedy talent like that in our generation? Will we see the likes of Robin Williams' talent again on the stage?
I don't think so. No. Hey, Jimmy Fallon is pretty talented, but he's no Robin Williams.
Quick. Yeah, not as quick.
Robin Williams could go from character to character in the space of a millisecond. Could change directions and change voices, and that is whatever was going on in his brain was Robin Williams. And
yeah, I saw him in an interview online with Ellen DeGeneres, and she was sitting there with her notes, and she says, "Okay, do someone who's French." Boom, he did it. On a dime, he would change and do a Cuban guy, or somebody from Germany, or somebody from Japan, or somebody from Greece, or what? I mean, on a dime, he'd change it just like that.
He was amazing. Yeah. On the Hall of Fame question, there is no Fresno Hall of Fame.
No, I think you should start it because 30 years. Name how many people have done 30 years or
in
more?
Fresno?
Okay,
well,
you got Angelo, Stephanie, you. Who else? Bob Long.
Bob Long, yeah.
Yeah.
Some people that have
Who
passed.
else?
It's a very short list.
Yeah.
I would love to see one started.
Why don't we start it? I mean, I'm nowhere near the category. I was only on for 12 years, so that doesn't even come close. I mean, no cigar for me, but anyway.
Compared to the kids that are on now, that's pretty good.
Compared to people that are,
I don't know why
years
there
is a
isn't
lifetime.
One.
Huh?
San Francisco has one. L.A. has one. I don't know why Fresno doesn't.
We need to get off our duff and start something here, huh? What do you think?
Let's talk about it.
All right. We're talking. Are we take another break here or what?
2 minutes.
2 minutes until another break? Okay. Another topic I think that's been in the news lately, and that is all the police shootings in Fresno. I mean, not police shootings, shootings in general. In the last 30 days, you've had, I don't want to correct that, police have not shot anybody in the last 30 days. I meant shootings, period. In the last 30 days, you've had like 28 or 29 shootings. As a reporter, I mean, you were here, you've been here for the last 30 plus years. Before Jerry Dyer became the chief of police, there were 100 homicides or more. Does the trend seem to be going back in that direction? How are the police doing? As a reporter, how do you judge the situation? How do you evaluate it?
I think the police are doing a great job. The problem is the overcrowded jail can't keep people locked up. The criminals get sent to the jail, they're booked in there, and because of overcrowding, a lot of them end up back out on the streets in minutes. It's insane. I think the police are doing their job. The jail, unfortunately, is not doing its job. Well, the jail doesn't have a choice. It's under a judge's mandate to release people when they get to a certain level. And those criminals are back out on the streets. They know that there's no repercussions for what they've done. I had one Fresno police officer tell me that a lot of criminals now just say, when they're caught, take me in. I'll be out on the streets in 5 minutes. It's a joke. It's a revolving door.
Yeah, and it's part of it. The problem is the prison realignment that took place a couple of years ago. And what's our job as news reporters in covering the police, in your opinion?
To make sure that they're doing their job correctly and not overstepping their bounds and not prejudging, as is going on, in my opinion, in Ferguson. We don't know what happened with that police officer and with the young man who was shot. We really don't know. So for anybody to be making any speculation about that at this point is just wrong.
Well, on Friday here, we had Larry Hustetti. He's one of the two pilots for Skywatch. Skywatch has been around for almost 19 years now. You've been here a long time. You remember the days before Skywatch, before Dyer became police chief, before Winchester became police chief. You were on the streets, as we saw in that report. Is crime better now? Have we gotten, in other words, have we gotten it under control more now than back in the 80s as you were on the street reporting?
It probably depends what neighborhood you live in. I mean, if you live in certain areas of Fresno, crime is out of control. Other areas, it's not as out of control. And there's different types of crimes in different areas of the city. If you're in certain parts of the city, you're more likely to be a victim of a shooting than you are in other areas. So you can't generalize and say crime is better or worse. Again, I think the police are doing an excellent job with the staff they have, and we just need to stand behind them.
All right, Mike Scott is our guest, talking about a wide-ranging number of topics. Oh, we got a phone call here. We'll take that before we go to break. Good morning. You're on the show. Go ahead, caller. Got to turn your sound down, by the way.
I think I have a lot of respect for the police. They have a very difficult job to do, but
okay, you got to turn your set down when you call in. That's rule number 1 here on Connect with Me. If you don't turn your TV set down, you're getting that big 10-second delay, and then you're paying attention to your television set and not to us on the phone. So call back and turn down the sound. 436-MeTV option 11. Back in a moment.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
And back here on Connect with Me, caller, you're on the air. Hope you have your sound turned down, please.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Cindy Briggs, and I live in Exeter, and I just wanted to tell you that I used to be afraid to go to Fresno because of the gangbangers and getting shot. Now I'm afraid to go to Fresno because I'm afraid of getting shot by the police department. There's been so many shootings. Almost every day there's a new officer shooting.
Well, if you're not doing anything wrong, what are the chances that you're going to get shot by a Fresno police officer?
Obviously, I won't, because you hear about him shooting 72 rounds into a car, and the suspect was hit twice.
I know that case you're talking about, yeah. But, I mean...
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I mean, there's so many wild shots fired, it's just insane, and almost every day you hear about officer shootings. I grew up in San Diego, and there almost never an officer shooting.
Well, it sounds to me like you're anti-police, are you?
No, I'm not. In fact, I'm former law enforcement. I'm a former peace officer.
Okay. In what city?
I live in Exeter right now, but I was a former peace officer. I was deputized out of Tulare County to do prisoner transport.
I see. I see.
Well, you agree. The police do not have an easy job.
No, they don't. I agree, but I'm just saying more and more officer shootings. I think too many officers are afraid. I think we let this gang situation get too out of hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
thank you for your opinion.
Okay, thanks. Have a great day.
I appreciate the phone call, and yeah, all you got to do is look at that case up in Stockton where the brazen robbery, a bank robbery that took place. They took one lady hostage. She ended up dying because there was a shootout. Police shot into the car. And as it turned out, I'm sure you read it on the internet, that it turned out to be a police ammunition that actually shot and killed that lady inside the car.
Well, you think reporters have a tough job. Imagine a police officer every day that has to worry about every single thing he does.
Yeah, I know. But up in Stockton, they were using her as a human shield.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. Hey, how about, let's change topics here.
Okay.
Downtown Fresno.
Why do you
laugh?
That
comes up so often on this show because everybody look, I love the Grizzlies. I love that stadium. I know you were at the game
twice this past week.
I know. But let me tell you, and I know they had 11,000 the other day because of the bobblehead thing. Okay.
13,000 for taco night.
Whatever. How often does this happen? Okay, revitalizing downtown. They've got to do it. The Grizzlies don't draw flies. Other than those 2 games, what do they draw, Mike? What do you have to do to downtown to get people to come down there? I mean, you and I are going to go down there, but I don't know. Changing the Fulton Mall now. They're going to open it up to cars. Is that going to bring people downtown?
I think it'll be an improvement. And I was
In
a
what
big
way?
I was a big supporter of the Fulton Mall for a long time, but I think opening up it is the right thing to do.
You've changed your mind.
Well, it's going to happen. So
hey, look at that! Look at that aerial shot.
Yeah,
Isn't that
beautiful.
Yeah, we got that the other day from Larry.
Look at all the people in there.
Yeah, look at that. Okay, back to my question. What are you going to have to do to get people to go downtown?
Put some stores there that people want to shop at.
How about restaurants?
Well, I think we talked
I
about
go to River Park because I like to eat.
Restaurants would be a good thing, yeah. Fresno City Hall should never have built the City Hall where they are now. They should have put it right on the Fulton Mall.
Yeah.
Every day, all of those hundreds of people who work in City Hall would leave there at lunchtime, go out and eat. There would have been restaurants that were opened there, stores would have opened, and it would have had a spurring effect. And I think it was a huge mistake to build the new City Hall away from the Fulton Mall.
All right, caller, what's your question?
Actually, it's a question about news people.
Okay.
Because for just using this as an example, you're talking about Fresno PD. Well, I'm talking news people. There's this Governor Perry stuff going on, and he is asked for a second chance, you know, to get his act together, et cetera, et cetera. Fast forward, here comes a female. He disagrees with her, and he's trying to crucify her. She went and pled guilty, did her time, and all that. She's asking for a second chance. He's not giving her a second chance. What's up with the news people questioning the integrity of Mr. Perry when he's asking for a second chance when it's the pot calling the kettle black? It's
okay, we get it. We get it. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Guess
You'll have to explain that one to me.
I get to. Well, Governor Rick Perry of Texas. Okay. Why should he get a second chance when he's not giving other people a second chance? Why is the news media? Why should they give him a second chance? I mean, how should we cover this story as news people?
Can I stay out of that one?
Yeah, you can.
That's a tough one. That's a tough
I mean, you know, it's kind of out of our jurisdiction. So we, again, just like Ferguson, we're not there. We don't know exactly what's going on.
You could take either side and argue either side if you wanted to, and that's not what a reporter's job is. A reporter's job is to report what they believe the facts are. Yeah.
Well, the facts plus, you know, give one. If you're going to give one side, you got to give the other. Make it a balanced story. All right, caller. Very few seconds left here on the show. What's your question?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Oh, I was calling to say that I think that one of the biggest problems in downtown is the homelessness.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you solve that?
You can't go to any store. You can't go anywhere without being asked for money.
Same in downtown San Francisco.
It's the same in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Same in whatever city I've been. I mean, New York, Boston, San Diego. It's the same in every one of those cities that I've visited and lived in.
I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer.
What should we do with the homeless? Should we house them, help them?
You can offer them housing. Some of them want to be on the streets. That they want that freedom to live their own lives.
Yeah.
They don't, you know, cities offer subsidized housing or a place for them to stay the night, or Poverola House or the Mission have rooms at night. If they don't want to be there, how do you force them to use those facilities? You can't.
Yeah, exactly right. You can't do anything about that. But hey, we've had a lot of fun on the program today. How much time left here? We got 2 minutes left. Anything that we didn't touch on yet that we should have touched on? Mike?
Raiders.
Oh, yeah, Derek Carr. You went to the game Friday night.
I went to the game Friday night. A friend of mine has season tickets, and she couldn't go. She thought the game was Saturday, so she called me up Thursday night when I was at the Grizzlies game and said, "You want to go to the Raiders game?" I said, "Sure."
Yeah.
So I'm dialing all night trying to find somebody to go with me.
How'd our guy Derek Carr
Derek Carr looked spectacular until he was injured, obviously.
Yeah.
But boy, when he came in and
he sparked the offense.
Woo, boy, did he! It was like watching one of the old Fresno State games.
How's he going to do in the NFL? Do you think is he susceptible to getting hurt because of his size?
I hope not.
Is he going to do okay?
I think he'll do okay. You hate seeing him get
concussion,
hurt,
right?
But you know what? I saw him throw his first touchdown in the NFL. And that can never be taken away from me. That was an awesome night. And I was sorry to see him get hurt that same night, but I think Derek has a great career ahead of him.
But hey, if you get Peyton Manning and you get some 400-pound guy fall on him just the way they did on Derek Carr, he's going to get a concussion too.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, nobody's immune to it. I don't care how
But he
big
got
you
up and walked off. Would you get up and walk if a 400-pound guy fell on you?
They would have carried me
exactly.
off on
Me
a
too.
stretcher.
Me too.
Maybe I would have been dead. Okay? I mean, come on. You and I can't take hits like that.
Raiders won this weekend. 49ers lost.
I know. 43-0, no less.
Oh, a disaster that was.
Anyway, the Giants and A's are still in it. Mike Scott, hey, I'd like you to be a regular on here if you can. I don't know how often you can come back, but
we can talk about that.
Okay. We'd love to have you. You're a great guest.
You
and Dennis Hart, the two regulars. Back with another edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV tomorrow. It's a business day. And hey, our friend Kopi's going to be here to talk about Greek Fest this coming weekend. Back with another show tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
That's